What's happening, Blades? So, it has been a monumental day for this channel, but we'll talk about that soon. I will get onto that because I'm overwhelmed really. But first thing we're going to cover, just because of a couple of stories that have come out recently. This is off the pitch. So first thing I want to jump into is a Daily Mail article that's come out today, or that's certainly doing rounds online, saying that the club is on the verge of administration, which will be a 12-point deduction. I don't believe it. It's a rubbish source. There's no to it. I think a few of the measures that they're talking about, like turning off undersoil eating and little bits and bats that we're doing, would not indicate that we're a club in absolute financial crisis. You have to remember that financial reports indicated that we were one of the best run clubs in the division until recently. And yes, we're in a transfer embargo, and to a lot of us, the numbers don't add up and they don't make sense. But I truly believe that this is solely down to the ownership issue. That we're in a transition period. We still don't know if it's definitely going to happen or not. But I think the Prince is refusing to pay any more money in, and I think Dozy is sort of saying, I don't own the club yet and I've already put 10 million in. So I think we're at a bit of a standoff. That's an assumption on my part. I may be wrong, but I certainly don't believe this 12-point. And the main driver behind me not believing it, and again, it's only my opinion, we're not shy that far from January, 6 weeks since, where we had offers of 20 million plus for both Sanderberger and Illiman and Dye, and we've refused them. Now, if we were desperate for the money, then we would have sold them, would have accepted the offers. So I don't believe it. I honestly don't believe it. I think once the ownership issue is known, whether it's Dozy or whether it's the Prince, I think the issues will get resolved financially. I think we'll be in a sticky spot if we don't go up. I think it all depends on promotion. I think we'll be fine if we're promoted. And thankfully, things are looking a little bit better in that regard, but there's still a long way to go. But for me, it's if we stay down that I think we've got a problem. But that'd be with either owner. So I think the immediate issues get resolved once the ownership issues are resolved. But then I think we have to be a very differently run club dependent on which division we're in, because we've gambled this year. We've kept our star men, which a lot of parachute teams in the second year don't do. We've held on to our Premier League squad. All bar Ramsdale played in Premier League with us. So it's been a big call, but we're 6 points clear in second spot at the minute. So for me, it's been the right call, and we've just got to see it through to end of the season. It's vital we get promoted, which is why a lot of us are so nervous. So I don't buy it. For me, I take it with a pinch of salt, and it's up to you whether you want to read any more into it, but I'm just giving you my opinion. I have no insider info on that. The other story I wanted to just briefly mention was something that was in The Athletic that I thought was an interesting point to make. Obviously, James McAtee scored that fantastic goal against Sunderland. It's been revealed in Athletic that he had the choice of about 30 clubs and chose United, which makes you warm to him a little bit more, doesn't it? It also touches on it. It's got a few quotes from him about that infamous Luton game, and I don't mean recent one, obviously. I mean the one at Kenilworth Road, where he were poor, very, very poor. It was his worst game for us, and he got hooked, and he rightly got hooked. He said he learnt a lot. He thought he would have been, he maybe came in with wrong attitude, thinking he could do it because he's always done it at whatever level he's been at. So I thought it were a good read. Go and check that out if you haven't already. There's also been reports that in the summer we turned down a £20 million bid for Illiman. I had heard rumours about this, but the Prince has confirmed it on a local podcast that he did. He turned that down and didn't want to take the money from Benfica. I don't know how people can criticise Prince Abdullah, in all honesty. Look, I was there. I had my Wilder tinted glasses on, and I still do to a degree. I love Chris Wilder and everything he did for our club. But other than that little bump with Wilder, and I think there were blame on both sides, as I've documented, I don't think we can blame the Prince for it. I think he's been a superb owner for us. You look at where we were when he took over, you look at where we are now, he's put 27 million in this season just to keep us afloat. So to say we're skint as a club is wrong. It's the owner that's choosing what to put in and what not to put in. Why should he put a penny more in? But safe in the knowledge that should we be threatened by administration or something of that nature, he'd be able to come in and bail us out. So I think it's a choice rather than an inability to remove the embargo and things of that nature. But I think we'll look back on the Prince's time with us, whether it comes sooner rather than later with this Dozy takeover, or whether it comes further down the line. I think we'll look back on Prince Abdullah's reign as one of the best owners we've had. And that's, again, just my opinion. So, moving swiftly on, Blackburn on Sunday. We've talked about how important Saturday is, never mind our game on Sunday. Can you imagine if Preston get something at the Riverside? The thought of that is unreal. I'm expecting Borough to get 3 points. However, Preston are 7 unbeaten. And I know we sort of said there were an outside chance of them making playoffs. It is an outside chance. But if they can go to Borough and even beat them, can you imagine? We're then 6 clear with a game in hand. Now, some are saying it's Luton that we have to watch. I don't think Luton will catch us. And I don't know why I don't feel that, because they came to Bramall Lane, they did a job on us. But I don't think they've got the staying power, if I'm honest. And I might be doing them a disservice, because people tend to write Luton off all the time, and they prove the doubters wrong each and every time. I think Rob Edwards is doing a really good job there. But for me, it's Borough that we have to worry about. And once we clear a Borough, I'll be comfortable and confident. We're almost to the end of that sticky period of fixtures. We've obviously still got Norwich to go, like we talked about. We've got Burnley to go as well, both away. Once we're through that, I think we might be all right. And I don't mean we're going to be okay in terms of we'll definitely get promoted. I mean, if we don't do well against the rest of the fixtures, then we've only ourselves to blame, because they're winnable games. There were an interesting stat that Sky put up after the game on Wednesday, and that was that of the 9 remaining games, we've beaten 7 of them and we've drawn with 2 of them in the reverse fixtures. So we can do it. We can definitely do it. With that in mind, we have a welcome distraction on Sunday, FA Cup quarter-final. How have we got here? We've sort of... It's come about, almost snuck up on us really, that we're now in the quarter-finals. And I've been on record as saying the league is the priority. And still, that is the case for me. Mostly due to the stuff that we talked about earlier. And for me, it's promotion or bust. And when I say bust, we're not going to be another Bury. But we'll certainly have to cut our cloth accordingly. And I think we'll be tightening the purse strings, and we won't see any near the level of quality in the squad that we've got at the moment. So the league is the priority for me. But I still think we feel the team that's good enough to beat Blackburn. Some are saying play its strongest team, with the fact that we've got an international break coming up now in mind. So there's a 2-week break for most of the players. I still think we give the other lads, the squad members, and the underperforming big hitters a chance to prove themselves, redeem themselves in some aspects. I'm talking your Norwoods, your Bogles, McBurneys, who've been off the boil a little bit, and also to prove yourselves. I'm gutted Andre Brooks isn't fit, because he'd be in my team the way he played against Tottenham. So you know what I'm going to ask? What's your team? So this is my team. I've gone with Adam Davis in goal. He's not had a lot of minutes recently. He's been predominantly our cup goalkeeper. Would have played against Tottenham, apparently, according to Eki, but he just had a little bit of an injury. I think he'll come back in for this game. And I don't mind it. I think Wes Wes had a good game. I forgot to mention him, to be honest, in match reaction from Sunderland. But he kept us in the game at one stage. Even though I think we dominated overall, if they equalise at 2-2, then I think it could well be a different game, because goals change games, don't they, in terms of momentum and stuff. But Davis comes back in for me. I'm going Bash. I'm giving Anel a rest, and I'm hoping that a 2-week rest will do him good. I think he's looked good since he's come back into the team, but as much energy as we can get out of Anel for the last 9 league games. Egan's getting a rest for me, and that's not because I think he's underperforming. That's because I want Clark and Robinson fit to challenge for that left centre-half position. Now, Robinson's just been given our Player of the Month. I get why. I don't necessarily agree with it. But form's been so up and down with individuals, you can't really say who else should get it over him, to be fair, because he did start the month off on fire. There were a couple of really good performances from him, and I think he's just gone off the boil a little bit since. If Tommy Doyle's playing in 4 or 5 games, I think we've got a different winner of that award, but I am very biased towards. Ender's back in training, so I'd like to see it full training as well, full contact training, so I'd like to see him given a chance. I'm not a huge Ender fan. I was. It's a little bit like John Fleck, really. Absolutely loved everything he's given the club, but I'm pretty sure, and I feel like he's on the decline. I just feel we need to rocket up Max Lowe, because he is not the one. Reece is the boy, as we've talked about, but just give him some competition to think about. So I'm giving Ender the chance to come in here and give Eki some headaches with his selection. Bogle comes in for Baldock. George Baldock is my starter. You know I love Baldock. He's my favourite player, I've got to be honest. I love George Baldock, everything he brings to the side. But Bogle's getting in for the cup game to try and pull his form round a little bit if we can. Norwood is in. We play differently with Norwood in the side as we did against Sunderland, and some may see that as a detriment. But when Ollie Norwood plays well, Sheffield United play well, he can really make us tick, and you can't count him out yet. There's some people saying now that he won't come with us if we got promoted. He's a class act, Ollie Norwood. He's just been bang out of form. So you play Norwood. He came on Wednesday, and I thought he looked like a man on a mission. And good. That's what we need. We need a fired up Ollie Norwood that isn't complacent. Don't think he gets in every team. Same with Sander here. Sander's going away with Norway, so he's not going to get much of a break in international window. So I think Sander sits this one out, even though he's been playing better, Sander. I've no issues with how he's been playing recently. He's certainly starting to pick up. Blaster gets a go. Much like Brooks against Spurs, give a couple of youngsters a go. I'd like to see Louis Marsh on bench. You know, I'd like to see a couple of these young lads get a look in terms of being in and around the first team. Koulibaly gets back in. Again, I thought he did okay against Spurs. I didn't think he was quite as at it as Brooks was. He obviously had that horrendous miss. But I didn't think he did much wrong either. So Koulibaly's in for a chance. If we've got a squad, we've got to use it and keep our squad players fresh as well for if they're needed at any point during the season. And up top, I've gone with Jebbo and McBurney. Now, Eki's reported that Jebbo has struggled a little bit with the after effects of that challenge from Hume that should have been a red, where he got scissored in first half against Sunderland. But if he's fit, I'm playing him because it's his shirt to lose. And McBurney is alongside him because I think they're competing for the same spot alongside Illiman. So that is my team. And this isn't us throwing the game. This team is good enough to win. You know, you can have players like Louis Marsh, like I've talked about, who I would love to see get a few minutes. But you could also have Billy Sharp on bench, John Fleck on bench, experienced heads and things of that nature just in and around to blend it. And with every chance of getting through to semis. The beauty of this team is, for me, we're resting our main players. We're resting Wes, Anel, Egan, Doyle, McAtee, Illiman, Baldock. So none of them, they've all got an extra rest. But the team that we put out is good enough. I think it's good enough. we showed against Spurs that they don't have to be established names and regular starters to piece together a performance and grind out a result. And I think we can do that with this team. It's not throwing it just because, you know, the league's more important. Yes, the league is more important in my book, much more important. But this team can get a result against Blackburn. So let me know what you think. I'm really keen to, because some will think I'm throwing it. Some will think it's, why not just go with strongest team we've got now? We've got a 2-week break after, and I understand that mentality. What would you do? What's your team? That's what this is all about. Let me know in comments, and I'm sure we'll go back and forth on a couple of them. So we've done it. We have done it, and I say we because I feel like you've come with me on this sort of, the way I've sort of been evolving the channel and trying to bring you stuff that I would want to know about and I'm interested in because we just love the Blades. So I've put together a little video. Give this a watch, see what you think. What's happening, Blades? Lord, I was born a rambling man, trying to make a living and doing the best I can. When it's time for leaving, hope you'll understand. I was born a rambling man. Lord, I was born a rambling. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on this point because I don't want to bring the mood down. But I would never use this ever on a video normally. But I feel like you've supported me and you've clicked subscribe, and you've helped pull me out of a really dark place. And none of you will ever know how much that's appreciated. When I first started recording videos, my family were quite worried about me. My wife, my dad, my brother, my auntie, everybody. And I know other people have gone through a lot of things personally. But, you know, our family certainly has too. And the fact that this has given me a focal point, something to, an outlet, if you like. I know I've talked about it being an outlet before, but it's given me a focus and more of a purpose. Sometimes I've struggled to get out of bed and, you know, well, I'll just do a quick video because I love talking about United, everything about United. And it's something that I can zone out. I can zone out of different things. So, and I'm okay, and I'm getting better every day. But some things are never going to get better, and it's just, you have to learn to live with it. So this channel has been, it's not being dramatic to say that it's been a lifesaver, and I've thoroughly enjoyed engaging with you all, and I want to continue for as long as possible. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for absolutely everything. Even those that don't agree with me, that's what it's for. That's part of it. You know, I'm not right. I'm just giving my opinion. So thank you. Thanks for supporting the channel. Please continue to do so. No more pandering for subs, I promise. But obviously, the more the merrier. Everybody's welcome here. Thank you. Come on, you red and white wizards. Love your mum. And up the Blades.